Okay, yay. So this is the box, the album in a box. This is the On the Bright Side. I got the Jazzberry album. I'm gonna switch my YouTube screen to the back because of the delay. It's gonna drive me nuts. So there we go. Hopefully now I can hear you. Okay, yay. All right. Now I put my screensaver on. Okay, I'm not tech savvy. We're going to be doing videos for a long time to come, recorded videos and not lives. All right, so here it is. I have not opened this up. I got my box last night about 7 o'clock, a little squished on the corner, but hopefully everything inside is fine. So I've not even opened this up. I did watch Noreen's video where she talked a little bit about, she opened one, and so I kind of know what to expect. But here we go. So when we open it up, we start with the album kit guidebook with a picture of Amy Tangerine on the front, Amy Tan. I don't know what the other ones are going to look like. The Natural Beginnings will be coming out next week, week from Monday. And then the Global Getaways will be coming in 2 weeks. And they'll all have their own guidebook. But Amy Tangerine only designed the On the Bright Side collection. The others are designed by Creative Memories people. So the guidebook itself tells you what's included in the box, the base pages and cut aparts, the embellishments, border stickers, adhesive, and the album. And then it talks you through how to create the album. Tips for success, there's a video you can watch, I guess. I didn't watch it. And then it shows you each of the layouts. So if you have done the simple page kits, the concept is basically the same of the simple page kits plus the the embellishments, whatever. So I assume this part's going to be very easy. And of course, I'm starting now at 1:28 instead of 1 o'clock. So we'll start our timer at 1:25 just to see the time from a box opening to the other. And then we'll pull this next part off, like little cardboard cover-up case. And in here we have the stickers, On the Bright Side stickers. This is a set of 6 stickers, and they each have a number on them. So it tells you what layout they go to, number 1, number 6. They're not necessarily in order, but yeah, this one has 3. So, okay. So all the stickers are here. A repositionable tape runner. So right now, the repositionable tape runners are unavailable at Creative Memories, I think because they realized they have to put them on these album boxes. So if you desperately need a repositionable tape runner with the case, you might need to buy a whole album box. They should be back soon. And then the embellishments, and what Noreen told us is that the way that these are divided, the embellishments of like 1 through 4 are here, 8 through 12, however, 4 through 8, 9 through 12, and then 13 through 16. So we'll just open those as we go. We'll take this divider out. Here's our pack of 48 pages. And then the actual album cover with the pages in it. So I'm going to get this out of my way. And we're going to go ahead and open this up. You do have 3 choices of albums with this particular kit. You can have the On the Bright Side with the words on the front. All right, you guys still hearing me? Nobody's commenting anymore. On the Bright Side with the words on the front of the album. Or you can have a vivid blue album with the same on the bright side, or you can have the green Jubilee, which is plain, doesn't have anything on the front. And 10 lucky people will have their album signed by Amy Tangerine. I was not one of them. You can throw this away. All right. I love the pink too, Lila. Pink is like my favorite color. And so I really like this. I don't usually use the slide in pocket pages, but I guess you can maybe try to teach an old dog new tricks. Glad you're mesmerized. All right, I'm going to move the box way out of my way so that I can put this over to the side for now. And let's just jump right into it. Okay, 131. Here are all the papers, and they are all single-sided. So, and in the past, the the simple page kits were double-sided, and this year they're not, but I think that's this time they're not because they have to label on the back what it goes for. All right, so this is your title page base paper. One thing they did weird is like your base paper and your back page go together, and the back page and the cut apart is at the end. So this says the title page and the cut apart. So I'm just going to go ahead and take both of these end page base paper. I always like to do my title page last anyway. So I'm going to take these and set these over to the side. And then we're just going to go through the pile and put these together. Okay, so we've got layout 1, right base paper and left base paper, and then layout 1 cut apart paper. All three together, which is very handy that they've organized that for us. I'm going to move those out of the way. I'm going to go ahead and open up a brand new repositionable tape runner to see if we can do this whole album with one tape runner. So just remember, you got one tape runner and a whole album, and then I'm going to pull out my 12-inch trimmer. These are designed so that if someone didn't have a 12-inch trimmer, you could theoretically cut these with scissors. I hope you don't have to do that, but if you're a beginner and you're not, right now the 12-inch trimmer is out of stock online because they're bringing in a new wider model in March. So you need to either just find somebody who you can share the trimmer, or you could cut these apart with scissors. You could use a ruler and X-Acto knife. When you do a cut apart, you always want to cut the pieces in order. So if you start with 1, 2, then you know that your cuts are going to work. So even though I have to turn it upside down, that's how I'm going to do it. I'm going to cut. I got to turn a light on. Sorry, guys. I might have to turn this one on too. It was making a glare before on the box, but all right. So we're going to line it up on here. I'm going to use my little sight lines guides. If hopefully you're aware of those that show you exactly where your cut's going to be. You can also just use these little triangles, on the blade housing, or you can line up with the cut line already on your trimmer. I'm going to make sure it's straight up here against the edge. Cut paper 1, or piece number 1. Number 2. Number 3. For some reason, I always cut at the top, but I notice when I've watched a couple other people, when I watched Amy Tangerine on her little video she did for CM Home Office, she cuts down at the bottom. And I have other friends that like to cut down at the bottom. Maybe I'll change my ways. I think if I could trade back and forth and cut at the bottom, sometimes it would save wear and tear on my poor little trimmer. Okay, so that's the cut apart for layout number 1. Now I'm going to take my 2 base pages. Apparently go like this, and I'm going to open up the guidebook. And I did skip the title and end page. I don't know why. I just decided to do that. And we're going to start with layout number 1. So it says, make sure to apply the border stickers along the edges of piece 1 and 2 before adhering pieces 3 and 5. So I'm going to take piece number 1, the flowers, it's going to go up here. And piece number, that's number 1. And that's number 2. And we will just adhere them. I did not get out my 13-inch cutting mat, which I usually like to use when I am adhering, trying to line things up, because I want this to be, if you are brand new to scrapbooking and you don't have all those tools yet, I don't want to scare you away. Okay, so here's the piece number 1, and then it says to use the border stickers. Here they are. Piece number 1. I guess this is like an Amy Tangerine style with the watercolor. It reminds me of our old emerald gemstone that we had from Creative Rivers. So we're going to put this alongside the edge of that. And actually having the piece of paper on there makes it easy to position that sticker. All right. And then piece number 4, number 3, 8, 7, 6, and 5. Looks like this one you put just a little bit down. On the edge. In the simple page kits, you get a whole sheet of stickers for each of the layouts. But for this one, they gave us the embellishments, which I put over to the side. And so it's only the border stickers and the embellishments. And it probably wouldn't matter if I put, you know, number 7 over here, but I'm trying to go in order, following the guide. Yeah, the whole aging eyes thing, Lila, that's, people warn me about it. Like, oh yeah, you're going to turn 40 and your eyes are going to start going. And I turned 40 and they didn't go. And then about 3 months later, I got my first iPhone, and then suddenly my eyes went. I don't know if it was a coincidence or not, but now it's reading glasses and a lot of light. All right, I'm going to take all of the embellishments out of this first compartment. I maybe should have done this before, and we're just going to sort them. They got the numbers on the back like our card kits. So 1A, 1B, 2D, 2A, 2B, 4A, 2E. If I was doing a recorded video, this is the part where I would snip this part out. I'm like, I'm not going to make you guys watch me divide these up. Uh-oh. 1, 1, 1, 3, 3, 3, 2. But since we're live, we're going to do them all. You're going to see me all in real time. Oh, would somebody go over to Facebook where I said I was going to be live on Facebook, and tell them to come find me over here on YouTube? If you want to share a link or something, that would be very helpful. Thank you so much, because I didn't change that over on Facebook. And apparently the problem would have been the same on Facebook or on YouTube. So I should have maybe done that. Okay, so here's pile number 1. We have this. And these looks like little kind of fake washi tape. And more, please. I don't know exactly what that would be referencing. And a little camera and a little thing. Now, don't tell Noreen, but apparently Amy Tangerine didn't know that her clusters are supposed to be in a group of 3. And I actually think for myself, I want to leave this for a little bit of journaling. So even though on here they covered up the whole journal box with the more please, I'm gonna put it off to the side. I'm gonna use this as if it were a little piece of tape. I guess that's like the thing that some of these young people do, is they put their stuff in their little junk journals on they tape it on with washi tape. But those of you who know me, who have scrapbooked with me, know that I almost always have to change the printed directions. It's just a problem that I have. All right. So layout number 1, it took us 15 minutes, and that included sorting that out. All right, layout number 1, we're going to set that to the side. And then we'll go to layout number 2. So I like this paper. I'm excited. I did not open the box that has my regular collection with this paper. All I've opened is this one. So all I know about this collection are these papers. So layout, there's the 2 base pages. And then here's our cut apart. And again, we're going to cut numerical order, although it probably doesn't matter as long as you cut the long ones first. And these two numbers, 1 and 2, have a little banner we're going to notch out at the end, but it's easy because it's already got the lines on it. Lila, I saw your post about not needing readers till 43. My husband didn't need them till about 45 or 46. I was so jealous, and you know, but then by the time he needed readers, I had so many old ones I'd outgrown. I had to, you know, go to the next higher strength. So he hasn't had to buy any. So, all right, here we go. Here's our little banner edge and scrap. I'm not used to cutting my banners this way anymore. All right, so that's all my cutting for layout 2. And I'll look at the picture, make sure, but I think this is how it goes. So, make sure to apply the border stickers along the bottom edges of pieces 1 and 2 before adhering piece 6 on top. So it sounds like we do piece 1 and 2. Right along the edge of this printed line, looks like. And if you're not quite on there, it doesn't matter because we're going to put that border sticker on. So my guess is if you were a kind of newer scrapbooker, it might take longer to put this whole album together. I looked at the picture to help me see what the sticker is going to look like. It's right there, number 2. You know, sometimes if you're needing to, you know, learn how to use your trimmer or whatever. So I'm curious how many of you that are, you know, existing longtime scrapbookers have used the simple page kits, what you think about them, what you think about this concept of having a whole album in a box. This is really especially geared toward beginners. You know, the new beginner class program has them come to a beginner class and try out one of the kits, you know, a simple page kit. And then if they like that, we can upgrade them to the whole album in a box. I guess it doesn't matter. I can just do whichever ones. All right, so we'll put these down. So I do like that it tells you adhere the border sticker before you put your, you know, before you stick your mats down. And sometimes people have trouble with, you know, putting their mats down before they know exactly what their pictures are going to look like. I just want to tell you that it doesn't matter. Even if you have a, you know, a mat that's horizontal. Oh, this was screwed down a little bit. Even if you have a mat that's horizontal, you can, I'm going to put it down a little bit more even than they did. You can put your vertical picture on it. It does come down into this pink section. One of the things that I've seen advisors do is before they create their simple page kit, they take a picture or they measure the, you know, the drawings on the back so that they could repeat this same layout later. I want to put this down there too. All right, I'm just me changing things up again. All right, so now I'm going to go to pile number 2, and I have this little card and this one that says full of bright ideas and an arrow and a cloud and a journal box. And they put their pictures, like I feel like there's, maybe I was supposed to put this over the top of this, because mine feels like it's way up high. And I think theirs is a little bit lower. I think I was supposed to put this on top of the blue instead of above. Oh, well, So I use the repo. I'm going to just move these guys down a little bit. And that would explain why things weren't working out the way I wanted them to work out. So now I've got more of this blue at the bottom and less of this pretty multicolor, which is the one I like the best. But I'm going to put this down in there. It's going to be fine. So Heather, if you had cataract surgery, does that mean you don't have to wear any glasses at all? My dad is 90 and he doesn't have to wear glasses. And sometimes I'm quite envious of that, that I have to wear readers and he does not. But I think I'm about ready to need to go get real glasses. I think my time is coming. I'm going to change that a little bit too. I think I want my arrow to come insidewards. All right, so here's the cutting guide, and it didn't specify that this was supposed to go down, and I put it on top, but I think it still looks pretty close to the same. I just moved my mats down. All right, so that was layout 2. That one only took us 7 minutes. Apparently having everything sorted makes it go a lot faster. All right, layout number 3. Pulling out the papers is the hardest part. Okay, here are the 2 base pages. And then here's our cut apart. So this looks like 2 6x6 squares. And then 4x6, 4x6, and 2 3x4s. And again, don't feel like you have to then only use these size photos on your layout. I promise that you can always just kind of work around it. So this one has the 2 big squares up the sides and then the mats in the middle. So, and this little splash, oh, it's on both pieces have this little, like, I guess that's part of kind of her look, right? The little watercolor, water damage. Not so much my look. Okay, this one doesn't have any border stickers. It doesn't say anything about that. So, and these look like they line up with the edge of the yellow. Paying better attention to that from now on. And then the 2 verticals and the 2 go this way and that way. I like this kind of, not khaki, craft paper kind of pattern. So this one you could use as a photo mat or as a journal box. One of the things I didn't see in this guidebook, and I need to go back and look, is it doesn't tell you how many pictures you're going to need, because really that's probably going to be the hardest part of doing this album then, is going back and figuring out which, which pictures to use. One thing I really do like, we've had the Fast to Fab albums in the past, and they were pre-printed on both sides. And so I didn't like that, because sometimes what you do on one side doesn't work on the other, on the other side. But this way they're all individual pages and you got the pocket pages, so you can mix them around as much as you need to. So if the pictures that come here, if you have 5 pictures for this layout, but the next layout is only going to have, you know, these, but you can move them around however you need to. So I really like that a lot about the concept of these simple page kits. All right, now we're going to do some little stickers, memories, and a little, oh, that's probably kind of tucks behind, a little watercolor blob. Uh-oh, I'm missing one. I'm missing a little starry thing. Oh, there it is, tucked way up in there. The nice thing about having the guide is that you know to look for a little piece that's lost. The directions, I do not know if they say anything about how much adhesive to use. It just says use to adhere your paper pieces embellishment. If you run out of adhesive, you can purchase refill cartridges from your advisor. So one of the things that I often see with people who come to CM having come from other brands of adhesive is they tend to use a lot more adhesive than I usually do. I also find personally that with the repositionable, I use more. So I personally tend to lean more to the regular traditional adhesive. But I guess I'm old school because the repo seems to be the way they're doing this, and it isn't much more forgiving. All right, so here is layout number 3. And that one was 6 minutes. I start at 1:47. It's now 1:53. So put them together, tuck them in here. And layout number 4. The hardest part is that my trimmer is sitting on top of these. So when Noreen did her video, she like went through and matched up all the pieces and then put them each in the pockets. To me, I feel like that would add time to the process. We're ready to turn the page because we skipped that title page and end page. And of course, you could always use any of these pages as your title page and end page. There is no reason you couldn't put this together as a layout and then use this for your title page and that for your end page. So, or make your own title page. And, you know, this only makes 16 layouts. So you could conceivably, kind of the way I'm thinking about it is that once you've kind of mastered the simple page kit, you'll have an idea of how to put your own layout together, you know, just with some paper shapes and the things that you like, or maybe try a project recipe or a sketch from the CM blog or something like that. And, you know, this is kind of the beginner, and then we'll get you moved up to intermediate, which would be, you know, following a sketch or a project recipe. Yeah, Lila, I've done the same with the simple page kits, used them as a base page and then kind of made them my own. And yikes, yeah, Heather, reading glasses are a lot cheaper than $8,000. Heather said, I'm getting into simple page kits as a way to speed up my completion rate. I put too much creativity into every single layout. I'm decades behind. You are not alone. And one of the things, you know, you guys know I'm a Noreen Smith fangirl. She knows I'm a Noreen Smith fangirl. Let's see, these go on the outside. And she, I was at an event with her a few years ago, and she made a comment about how she often hears people talking about how they're so far behind, they're never going to get caught up. And she said, of course, you're not going to get caught up because you're out there living your life. And I really, really liked that. You know, I had a dear, sweet customer who cropped with me for many years. Okay. I think I've got these upside down because that's a rainbow and it should go in this direction. I don't want my rainbow to be scooping up. And my sweet little friend Judy literally had run out of things to scrapbook. She had scrapbooked every photo. She would have a you know, see her great grandchildren on Saturday, print out the pictures on Monday, work on them at the crop on Wednesday, and then by, you know, Saturday she was out of things to scrapbook again. And I realized that that for me is going to be more sad than never getting caught up. So I just, use these speed tools for things that maybe you don't have as much creative thoughts about, or the ones that you feel like are the most important to just get her done, and then save your, super creative. I'm going to spend 3 hours on one layout for the fun stuff. Oh, this was supposed to have stickers. And it looks like they just go along the side. They didn't tell me to put them on first, but I think they have the photo mat kind of bumped up against the sticker. So I am going to put the stickers on first, right along the outside. I don't think I even want to do that. I think I like to leave a little bit less of a gap than that. I'm going to put these up next against each other so I can make sure that my photos line up with each other when they're facing each other in the scrapbook. It says if you don't want to use this as a journal box, you can use a 3.5 by 5.5 photo instead, which you guys know, but a new scrapbooker might not know. Okay, so now we got our last pile of stickers or embellishments. We have a little tag. And I think I'm going to move this down actually. I have more room for my little tag up there. A little love this. A little hand holding a heart. And then we've got another blue blob, little watercolor swirl, and a leaf. And I'm going to take this, it's like a little arm. And rather than on here, they just kind of have it floating in space. I'm going to tuck it so it looks like it's coming from behind this little photo mat. I'm not a big fan of stuff floating in space. That, I guess. And the leaf. I like the leaf. I've been trying to think about what kind of photos I would use for this layout. They look very childlike, like activities with your kids, summer vacation, some of those things. Okay, that was 53 to 2 o'clock, so 7 minutes for that one, and I was talking more. These are very bright. I'm excited to see what round 2 of the album in a box, the natural beginnings one. Yeah, Beverly, I agree. Yeah, spend more time on the important moments or the good pictures. I think because I have I carry a camera in my pocket all the time with our phones. I have a lot of pictures that I would not have taken 100 years ago, well, 100 years ago, 20 years ago, when I just had a film camera back in the day, or even a digital SLR, and I didn't have a phone. I mean, I remember my first little flip phone had a camera, but the quality was horrible. And, very rarely would I have printed photos from that. Which I'm doing it down here because I can see the line on the cutting mat a little bit better. My desk at home is counter height, and I'm not quite sure that this stool is the right height for where I want it to be. All right, this one also had a banner piece, number 6. So I think I'm just gonna do it the regular way I always do a banner piece, which is kind of fold it and cut along that line. All right, don't tell anybody that I took a shortcut. All right, and then we're going to a big piece comes on this side. I kind of hate to cover up this whole pretty painted section. We've got 4x6. Comes up here. It's down there. All right, I like this one a lot. I like the grid. I love the pink. This one has 4 3.5 by I know there's a little bit more on this because it's big. 3.5 by 3.5 square photos are designed to go on here, but you could absolutely use, you know, different size photos. I'm going to grab some photos actually, and we're going to take a little detour from just me putting together the album. I'm going to just do a little teaching. So I'm just going to grab this. So the way that their cutting guide says to have 4 3.5 by 3.5 pictures, you could absolutely still use you know, photos however you need them, right? Make it fit your photos. You don't have to always follow their cutting guide. And even right here, you know, even though the way they have these mats, even if you've stuck your mats down, if you decide, I don't have another horizontal mat. Well, I got this one from a different trip, but you could easily, you know, put your mats down in different ways. Yeah, I didn't like it either that the photo mat was the rainbow was behind it. I'm having trouble, and that's one of the hard things about scrapbooking is when the paper is really pretty, like don't cover up the paper. And I have to remind myself sometimes that the point of scrapbooking is not for me to just look at all the pretty papers. It's to enhance my photos. So, I mean, not that there are rules, we can do whatever we want. I am liking the grid on here. I think it's helping me to make my mat straight. And I don't know if I know that the beginner class simple page kits, which one of these is a replica of that simple page kit, kind of. The simple page kit would have a whole sheet of stickers, and this is just going to have the embellishments and the border stickers. But I don't know if all of the album in a box kits are going to be the same, or if you know, they say that the 3 beginner class layouts are all the same cutting guide. So that if I'm teaching a class to a group of beginners and one person wants global getaway and 2 people want on the bright side, you know, I can just talk them through the cutting guide and it's all going to be the same. I do not know if the album kit is going to be that, or the album in a box is going to be that way too. Okay, so now we are to the second set of 4. I'm going to pull these all out. Hopefully I'll get all of them this time. Yep. And quickly do my 8, 5. I should have gone this way. 5, 6, 7, 8. 8. These little triangles out of the way. 6. Oh, that's a 5. Ugh. 8, 8, 6, 6, 5, 5, 6, 5, 7, 7, 7, 8, 7, 6, 7. All right, there we go. So this is layout 5, and it has this little piece of wood grain, this very cute create every day. I love that. And the little postage stamp. And then this and this. And then it does have 2 blue border stickers along the bottom. I really do like being able to just look at what the border sticker looks like, and then I don't have to like hunt for the numbers, but that does say number 5. And it looks like it just goes right under this. So I have heard about a different streaming software that's not Zoom, and I will try to do some research into it so that if I'm ever crazy enough to try and go live again and you're crazy enough to join me, maybe I'll be able to just have my whole screen and not my not the split screen. So I don't know that I know I make funny faces sometimes when I'm scrapbooking. So you could also, if you know, especially if you're a more advanced scrapbooker and you maybe have some foam squares, I think some of these would be really cute to do. This has a little knot hole and I want that to show. I think some of these would be really cute to do on pop up on some foam squares, like this little create every day. I like that a lot. That would go normally I would put that up on a foam square, or maybe even just this little postage stamp. I just keep thinking about how, you know, Noreen taught us about the group of 3, and then all of these, we only have 2 clusters of, I guess that could count as a cluster, but I'm like, no, I need another cluster. All right, layout 6. We're starting to see some of the same patterns again. So here's our base page. This would be super easy to replicate with paper if you wanted to add more layouts to your album later. And then the cut apart. Yeah, just the way my lighting is in here, I'm finding it an easier time finding where the cut line is here on my trimmer so that I can line this up exactly to cut straight. A little harder to cut this smaller piece. I almost wish I would have cut these off before I cut the bigger one off. All right, there's all my cutting. And it looks like this one also has some border stickers, and they're already pre-cut into 2 pieces. So there must be this one. And sure enough, they're pre-cut right there in the middle. Boy, they really are making this easy for us, aren't they? Okay, so here's our 2 pieces. What do we do? I don't exactly know where this is supposed to go. I think it goes right on this line. What do you think? You think it goes right on that line? Covered up by another piece of paper, so I guess it doesn't really matter. I can put it wherever I want, but I want there to be room at the top for this piece. So maybe I just kind of center it on the page. I think that's what I'll do. I just caught myself trying to line it up with the with the mat. Oh, yeah, sorry, I'm having a little trouble keeping up the comments. Heather, I would also have to gut some of the paper to save that for another layout. So I'm really thankful that okay, look, this isn't lining up exactly right, which makes me think that it goes better with that one. So my cuts are not always super scientific, so I'm going to find the one that fits. I'm really glad that we can buy more of the collection and buy these papers separately. I assume the papers that are in the collection are going to be the same as the patterns that we're seeing in this. And when they first talked about doing this, I remember thinking, oh no, the only way I'm able to get these cute patterns is if I buy the whole kit. And I am someone that likes to have multiple packs of the paper, as you guys know. But this way I can use the kit and then I can add on and however I need to. There we go. Yeah, because I cut down the middle first and then cut apart the other pieces. One of them is just a hair wider than the other, and probably doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things, but you know, it would annoy me, so. Yeah. I didn't cut that one quite straight, so we will turn it upside down. Yeah, I didn't quite touch the edge. All right, and then these two pieces go on either side. And just for giggles, I'm going to see which one is the right. Because one of them, like I say, is like a 32nd of an inch bigger, which is this one. So that means this one needs to go with this. So that you get the full exact 12 inches, and this one needs to go on that side. And now I'll get my stickers. And she put it so like that the cut edge is on the outside and this is on the inside. So I guess that's what I'll do. My inclination would be to put the cut edge on here and the rounded edge to the outside. Oh, you see that, the inside? But I think I'm going to do it my way with the cut edge to the outside. Just because I can. Which just goes to show you that it's still possible to make these layouts your own. You know, do things a little differently. And you know, if you really don't like something, or you really like one of the papers, like the one that we put the big square over, and you didn't want to cover up that pretty paper, you wouldn't have to. Yeah, I like it better with the little swoopies to the outside as opposed to the inside. I know I'm not a famous scrapbooking designer, but I know what I like. Trying to get this just so that's just right on the edge without going over. That one I think it went over just a hair. The stickers are the least forgiving part of this whole layout. Once you put a sticker down, it's pretty hard to pick it up and move it. Yeah, that's already ripping my paper, so it doesn't matter that it's off the edge a smidge. All right, this is layout number 6. We finished another sticker strip. And so layout number 6 has this full of gratitude. Oh, I overlapped my pieces right here. This purple blotch. And this little faux washi tape thing right there. I just realized that the first YouTube live where we couldn't get it to work is probably now just out there on YouTube, distracting people and making them think that was the real one. So apologies if you watched that one first. All right, yes, Maria, I have to do it my own way. Okay, layout number 6. We're done with that one. And I didn't time that one, so I don't know. I'm trying to put them face to face to put them back in here. All right, layout number 7 is the exact same layout that is in the simple page kit. So if you started this as a at a beginner class, and you've already done this exact layout, you may want to mix things up a little bit, even if all you do is do your layout upside down, you know, or put these vertically or something like that. But if all you're doing is the album kit and you didn't do the simple page kit, or you're not going to put them in the same album, it doesn't really matter. Layout 7. I do like this one. I like that it's got the border on it. You guys know that lately I've been liking borders a lot. I don't know how I feel about the torn and crumpled paper. Like I keep wanting to clean that off, but you know, we all have our little quirks. All right, so now we're going to cut here. It's a little bit easier when your cutting mat's been used a little bit because you can see the groove that the previous cuts have made. And I kind of messed that one up a little bit. I think I'm going to try and just trim a sliver off of that. I do love that I can cut just this tiny little hair with the trimmer. I've never had a trimmer before that would cut that detailed of a cut. And I really like that the 4x6s are printed on the back so that I don't have to hold up my cutting arm. So these really do go together quite fast. I mean, the hardest part is going to be, you know, figuring out how to use the trimmer. But once you get going with the trimmer, I think that anybody could do this album in just a couple of hours. I don't think you're going to need to come to like a whole Saturday crop or anything like that. And sometimes I think that that one of the reasons that people, you know, a lot of my scrapbook friends, our daughters are not scrapbooking. And part of me worries, and I don't know if my daughter's still online or if she's run for the hills, but part of it is because we've made it look kind of time consuming. You know, it's because we love it. We want to be out there, you know, scrapbooking with our friends. But what my kids see is my mom spends, you know, X amount of hours a month scrapbooking, and I have a life. So, okay, so this is the way that the page kit is designed. The simple page kit that you're going to do in the beginner class would be designed like this. So maybe if you don't want to have the same in 2 books, you do it like this. Excuse me. You know, you could do it like this. Actually, you could even put these on here. You know, you could put this like this. You could put this like this. All right. So there's lots of ways you could arrange this if you've already done this layout and you don't want it to be exactly the same. You know, but I haven't done it yet. So I'm going to follow the directions the right way, which is here, here, and here. Let me get a little drink. All right. And it's looking like this is about maybe that far down. If I'm ever going to leave space on a layout, I like to have wider on the bottom and a little bit narrow on the top. It's that whole concept of visual weight that I talk about. Two grid squares in between these guys. Oh, I'm liking the little embellishments for this. I have not really been aware of Amy Tan, whose name is Amy Tangerine. But I think some of these sayings, if they came from her, I think she's a kindred spirit. Oh, yeah. Maria said I could still gut the paper and nobody would know. Correct. And I probably would if I wasn't doing this as a how-to workshop. If it was my own self, I probably would. You guys, those who watch my videos know that my new unofficial motto is how to make scrapbooking harder than it has to be. So I would probably do something like that. And Beverly said, I would rather spend time scrapbooking than spend time texting. Amen. Amen. Although, you know, it's funny to me how often I can be at a crop and somebody will just quick hop on Google to look something up, and then 20 minutes later they resurface because they got sucked into Facebook. Okay, this one has some stickers. It's this cute purplish blue watercolor cloud. And they just go right up against the edge. I kind of don't love covering up this multicolor watercolor paper. Oh, it goes all the way to the top and bottom. Sorry, I was starting to line it up with the edge of the not frame part. Oops, I want to go over the top. All right. And then, oh, look, these are already layered right there. Goes right here with the little color swatches. And the "This makes my soul happy." And then we have here another little watercolor blob and another leaf. Yeah, I do like this. And I don't know if the embellishments are the same for if you do the beginner simple page kit, or if they get different embellishment, because they get a whole sheet of stickers. So my guess is that maybe the embellishments are different too. So I don't know if anybody has looked that up. You know, anybody wants to, that's an advisor or something that can wants to look that up and tell us, are the embellishments for the simple page kit the same, or do they have different embellishments? Oh, Tanya, yeah, I think scrapbooking is crazy overwhelming. And I meet so many people that used to scrapbook, they used to love it. They don't want to start scrapbooking again because they say, I'm too far behind. I'll never get caught up. And that makes me really sad because I mean, I have over 100 finished 12 by 12 albums. And I don't know that my kids are going to want those when I'm gone. I mean, I've told you guys this before, but I adored my grandmother with all my heart. I was able to live with her for a couple years, and she is just the most wonderful person. And I am so eternally grateful that she did not leave me 100 scrapbooks of every time they colored Easter eggs or, went trick or treating. And so I think about, like, what things do you want to remember? Do I really need to remember that time that my kids built a blanket fort? I mean, yeah, probably I do. Or, some of the things I really care about. And sometimes when I go back and look through my old scrapbooks, I'm so glad that I took pictures of fun things. My daughter Michelle, when she was about 7 or 8, there was this show called Survivor Man. And my husband used to love to watch that show. It was like they dropped this guy off in the woods somewhere with nothing but a butter knife and a handful of sunflower seeds or something. And then they'd film him as he, built a shelter and found food and all this stuff. And of course, meanwhile, he's got 2 or 3 cameramen and probably a director that have, tents and cold weather gear that are right there behind him. But they used to love to watch that. And so one time they built like blanket forts in our living room and had a Survivor Man night. And I'm glad I have that to remember. But if they had done it 50 times, would I have needed to remember all of that? Probably not. Okay, so it looks like this one, and it says on the back which one is which. That would be the faster way to look and say this is the right base paper and this is the left base paper. And this one again says, be sure to apply the border stickers to the base pages as shown before adhering pages 5 and 7, pieces 5 and 7. I'm just going to go ahead and adhere them first. And I can see that they are the little yellow pluses. All right. I'm excited for when everyone has these little polka dots. I love polka dots. Outside of the craft paper. I mean, it's neat because I'm seeing, like, these are layouts I might create. I might take a piece of craft paper and put a piece grid paper over the top and then a border on the side. And so this just takes a lot of the guesswork out for new people. And I like that. All right, so we have 3, and I'm not looking at the numbers on the back. I just looked at that one. And I actually got them right, I guess. And then these 2, 1, 2, 3. All right. And they have the pink one, a lot of them straight. There's so much grid happening on here that it's kind of hard not to make them straight. All right. It's not the same. It's not the same size grid. That's kind of annoying. So I'm just gonna ignore the grid lines on the base. I would rather have scrapbooks than china dishes too, but I'd, as a young mom moving around, I don't know what I would have done with 100 scrapbooks. I do actually have a couple of scrapbooks. I have a scrapbook that my grandfather made when he was in his early 20s, and it's a treasure. And then my dad has some other scrapbooks that his grandmother made. So it's like pictures of my grandfather, that same grandfather when he was, 1, and it's really fun to get to see that. But again, 100 scrapbooks, I would love to have 1 or 2, but I'm going to keep making them, even if I have so many that my kids despair about what to do with them. I won't care. I'm going to look at them, and when I move to assisted living, I'm going to have to get the 2 bedrooms so I can have 1 room for all my scrapbooks and my scrapbook room. So my friend has just moved in. She's newly widowed, and she's just moved into a new house, and she has turned the master bedroom into her scrapbook room because it's huge. And she's like, I'm just going to sleep in there. And she's taken one of the guests, the smaller bedrooms as her bedroom. And I'm like, I like the way you think, girl. So I've actually thought about doing that in my own house, except I have this whole scrapbook room downstairs. I don't know that my husband wants to give up the master bedroom too, and the scrapbook room. But like, why do they make master bedrooms so big? Ours has a deck that goes out and looks over the backyard. I'm like, I'm never going out there. I'm in my pajamas. I'm not going out on the deck. Don't go out there and sweep up all the pine needles and leaves and acorns and stuff. Would have been much better space as a craft room. All right, this was layout number 8, done. All right, we're at 2:29, which is right about where we started. So we've done 8 layouts in an hour, basically. Sorry, we started at 1 o'clock, but then we had all those technical difficulties. I do need to figure out how to get Facebook to let me stream to my Nicole Scrapbooks page and not my personal page. I don't want a scrapbook. I don't want to do this on my scrapbook, my personal page. My friends from high school don't care. Although I did find out that one of my Army wife friends texted me a little while ago to find out how my son was doing, and said that she heard about it from watching. She's not on Facebook, and she heard about it from watching one of my YouTube videos, and it made my day. It was one of the happiest things to find out that she sometimes watches my videos. So I don't know if she's a scrapbooker, but I never give up on anybody. All right, one of these is regular rectangle, and the other 2 we're going to cut into banners. And so you can just follow the cutting guide and snip, snip. I always like to cut from the outside. Going around a point is hard. There's that one, but I'm going to just fold it again like I did last time. It's the same basic technique, except this time I'm going to follow their line. I feel like that's faster. Okay, all the cutting done. Less than 1 minute. Layout number 9. Trim an additional 1/2 inch off the top of piece 7 to layer banner 7 and 8. Yeah, I'm going to do that. Okay, so looks like no stickers for this one. Oh, no, there are these khaki craft stickers. Why do I keep calling them khaki? Right, these? Aha, these go down here. And it looks like they covered up the red stripe. You got the rainbow stripe, and this goes right next to the yellow. So they kind of cover, they put it up at the bottom of this design, but I kind of like the rainbow better. And I think I'm gonna cover up the polka dots and leave the rainbow. Oh, Heather, I'm so glad you're scrapbooking more and on your phone less. When I'm scrapbooking, I am on my phone less, that's for sure. And when I'm like doing YouTube videos or something like that, I actually turn my phone on Do Not Disturb, which just occurs to me that I didn't turn it on to Do Not Disturb. So hopefully nobody tries to call me. Because I think that will knock off. Well, I don't think it will. Maybe when I'm recording, it'll knock me off, but I think when I'm on a Zoom, we get a busy signal. But it is amazing to me how our phones have taken over our lives for sure, at least mine. Okay, so this one comes first, and then number 3. And this one, it just has empty spaces for a couple of photos. It doesn't have photo mats. So this goes here, and this goes here, and this goes here, and this goes down here. So I do want to, this is a 4x6. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this as a spacer so that I know they have it touching the inside edge. I don't know how I feel about that. I think I'm going to leave a little space. And it came down to here. Aha, because I changed it, I'm going to have to put that there. I'll have this line up with the bottom right there. I'm going to just use it as a spacer so that I know that I get the leave enough room for these 4x6 photos that don't have mats. And that one can go there. And then this one comes here. We have, I'm going to put this down first. The stickers are, look like about a half an inch to me. So I think I'm going to put this about an inch over. Again, I'm trying to use my grid. Try not to have to use that. You shouldn't need to. I'm just going to use the grid on here. Make sure that it's lined up. That does make it nice because I could line up, you know, four squares in and 4 squares in, and then I know it's straight. So that now when I put these guys down, you know, they will also be straight. All right, and then this, it's kind of to that blue. I think I want it to be the same distance. And then it said, trim an additional ½ inch off the top of piece 7, which is this one. Even though I like 7 better, I'm going to trim a ½ inch off of piece 8. I like the yellow, the bright yellow against this white stripe better than I like the white with the orange speckles. Okay, I'm just going to alter the order that they did it. They put 7 down first and then put 8 on top of it, and I'm doing it the opposite way. Out there. All right. Oh, and now we're ready for our next batch of embellishments already. My pile of 4. So that means we're more than halfway. All right. We did up to 8, so we're going to do 9, 10, 9, 9, 9, 11, 10, 10, 11, 11. Well, I love that they did it this way. Sometimes when I've done the card kits and they're just all mixed up together, it can be a little overwhelming. But this, I'm going to write to CM and tell them that I love that they did it this way and that they divided them up for us. And it just makes it so fast and easy that they, that they're all numbered and I don't have to go through and decide what embellishments go where. All right, so this little thing goes on here with a little piece of fake washi and a let the fun begin. And then a little yellow blob with an arrow down to the journaling, I guess. Washi. I think washi tape is safe for scrapbooks, but I don't know if it's permanent. I mean, sometimes it is. Sometimes it gets so sticky you can't take it off, but I don't use a lot of washi tape in my scrapbooks. That show. It doesn't show as well if it's on the pink, but it was on the orange. Okay, so that's layout number 9. Finished. Uh-oh. I just saw this. It said it went to layout number 3. Let's pull back out layout number 3. Layout 3 was supposed to have this watercolor sticker on it, and I didn't do it. No, right there at the bottom. Oh, that'll be easy enough to add. It didn't tell me I had to add it first, and so I didn't. This is probably that layout that was like the fewest minutes too. Like, oh look, 5 minutes. Oh, dot step. But thankfully it had that number on there and it was easy enough to go back and fix it. All right, there's number 3. That was supposed to have that other little sticker. Sorry, layout number 3. Wait, excuse me for just a minute while I wipe my nose. I'm at the point of my cold where it's just annoying. And I've actually been at that point for a while. Been annoying the whole time, but like I don't feel sick. I'm not, coughing and sneezing all the time, but all right. That was 3, 4. We just did 9. So here we are to 10. So this is another one where look, like they're going to have us cover up all of this pretty paper with these mats. I don't know how I feel about that. I don't know how I feel about that. I'm going to do it. But if this were my own album, I might choose to just leave those and put my photos right on the flowers. And I certainly hope that this flower paper is in the designer paper pack. Layout 10. Oh, look at that. They have us take these pieces and cover this up. Why? Why are we covering up the flowers? I don't love that. I don't love that. I like the flowers, which is saying a lot because I'm not usually a flower person. I'm gonna do it right, but I'm a little sad about covering up this paper. And for this particular layout, I might not do it. If this were my real project. 3, 4. One, 2. Goodbye, little pink flowers. They're so cute. Would have much rather they put it on the grid paper and then had us cover up the grid with flowers instead of vice versa. That seems like an odd design choice. But I guess if you don't like flowers, then this is a way to deflowerify it. Maybe you're doing boys. You might even want to cover all of this up with, piece of cardstock or something. Although I do think this on the bright side is kind of girl oriented. And then having these at the top and bottom does make it easier for me to know where to put these big pieces. And just put them up against there. They do go into this a little bit. I think I'm going to line it up with the line. And then I'm going to put it under. Let's tuck it under. All right, we're just going to peel that up. Under. All right, so for this one, I'm going to stick this from. Yeah, Beverly, my grandfather's photo album was from a trip he took to Europe. I thought about that, but then the pictures will cover up. But I think you're right. I think I'm going to do that too. Let's move that up just a hair to bring in some of that color. All right, thanks for that suggestion. Yeah, Bobby and Maria both said to do that. But yeah, Beverly was talking about her parents left photo albums, but they were not acid free. That's this photo album that I inherited from my grandfather. It's so great because he had gone to Europe when he was a young man, but he didn't journal. And like there's this one picture of him with a young woman, and I don't know who it is. I don't know if it's someone that was like a romantic partner. I don't know if it's his sister. I don't know if it's my grandmother. Like, I know nothing. A few of the things, he'd have like a postcard. So it said he was in Vienna or he was in Salzburg or whatever. But by and large, it's just a picture book. And so one of the things I used to say way back, we had the first beginner class with the demo album. I used to tell people, if you don't tell me who the people in the picture are, then someday they become pictures of nobody, like pictures of, the pictures that you get in a photo frame when you buy a picture frame from Walmart, right? We don't care about that family. And it's sometimes hard to care about people I don't know who they are. Okay, so this one does have stickers. The last one's on here. And I'm going to I'm going to do them a little higher than it has covering up this line. I'm just going to put them, since we moved this up anyway, I'm kind of right here on the middle of this piece. And so this is supposed to be a 3.5 by 5.5 photo. So let's see if I have a 3.5 by 5.5 photo map. So I can still fit that on there, 3.5 by 5.5, and have a little bit of blue on both sides, even though we moved it up. So thanks to you guys who encouraged me to do that. I like it a lot better. And I was glad I had used repositionable for that one. So, and both of these have the grid, so I'm just kind of putting these in the two middle sections of the grid. Okay, and this is number 10. Another sheet of stickers done. Number 10 has, there's magic to be found. We have a sunshiny little blob and a pretty purple flower, and then a little leaf and whatever that is. Yeah, thanks for giving me permission to move this a little bit. I really try to follow their designs, you know, when somebody else designs something, but oh, it's so hard. We all have kind of different design aesthetics and different design choices, and apparently all I needed was a little affirmation. Yes, what sparks joy, what makes me happy. That is why I scrapbook. It does bring me so much joy. I really, it feeds my soul. One of the things that one of the earlier little icons that said something about that. So there we go. There's magic to be found. Number 10. And a drink. All right. Layout number 11. 11 of 16. All right. It looks like we have one that goes this way and one that goes this way for the base. And then our cut apart. Lots of orange, blue, and yellow. Oh, interesting. Like they pre-printed the front side too. Can you see that it's not like one solid piece of that blue? I would have thought they would have just done the solid piece of blue, but they did two strips of the blue. Weird. Oh, Lila, I love that your best friend says you light up when you talk about scrapbooking. My childhood best friend is actually the one that got me into scrapbooking. And years later, we were talking about scrapbooking or something, and I'm talking about people who don't want to scrapbook, and she reminded me of something that her mother had said. You know, this was my best friend from like kindergarten through 7th grade till she moved away. And she said that one of her mom's saying was, you know, and you can substitute any activity that you want to put in there. But she said, it's okay if scrapbooking isn't your thing, as long as you have a thing. And I really believe that. I feel like, you know, we find what makes you happy. If what makes you happy playing tennis or going hiking, you do you. That's, you know, that's great. All right. Piece number 1. Looks like it goes right on top of this. And this is where I get to use those polka dot stickers. I do like that this one isn't super symmetrical, that we have the, you know, the craft paper border on the bottom, or the, you know, on the bottom and on the right side. Okay, and then I get to do my little polka dot stickers, number 11. And they go, looks like over the seam between the two pieces. Ta-da. I don't know how I feel about these colors with those colors, but I think once we bring these orange mats in, they're going to work. These are probably not the stickers I would have chosen for this particular layout. So I do wish that Creative Memories was, uh-oh. I don't think that's gonna fit a 3.5-inch photo. What did I do here? No, I put it on the, come on off. I put it on top of it instead of on the next to it. Put it on the wrong side. Let's go on the other outside so that this can fit my photos. And I don't remember what I was saying. Oh, I guess I was talking about how the only way to get these page kits is to buy the album bundle. So you can't buy a second set of the no, it's stuck to this. Darn it. Okay. You can't buy a second set of the Fast to Fab pages without buying another album. But it is a cute album. So maybe if you love these and you want a second set, you buy the the plain green or something. All right. Rub off that repositionable adhesive. Thank goodness for the repo. And then we'll do the mats. Nose is itching. Horizontal and a horizontal and a vertical and a vertical with this little mat right here and this little mat right here. This one too, I didn't quite get the purple or the orange off. So we'll just snip that teeny piece off. Puts down here. Yes, Sandy, as long as you have a thing, embrace it for sure. But I do. I hear about, especially men, older men. I hear about men that my dad's 90 and he doesn't really have a thing. He doesn't have a hobby or something that he's super excited about. And so he's, not only is he lonesome, he's a little bit bored. I just think I can't imagine. I don't have time to be bored. And I have too many friends to be lonesome because we're scrapbooking together. And again, this one I left a little bit of that orange, but it tucks behind, so I'm not going to worry too much about it. And that's as always a personal preference, right? If it doesn't bother you, then who cares? All right, 11. That one was really fast. I feel like that one went together super quick. We got this little purple blob and a star and a enjoy the now and a flower. And I think they tucked that kind of behind too. I like that. I like that one a lot. And then a little arrow and a star. Oh, my arrow has a little piece that's like poking off. Oh, I just ripped it off. I don't think it's supposed to be on there. And again, some of these I might put on with foam squares. So maybe like if you're a CM advisor teaching this as a class, you might want to, throw in a couple foam squares. Give people the option of that extra little bit of scrapbook enjoyment. So I do not plan to put photos in this right away. I'm making this as a demo so that I can show it to people before they commit to purchasing this album bundle. But I am thinking about like what I could do it with. I'm actually thinking about our family reunion. We had a extended family reunion last summer, and I think we didn't take as many pictures this year as we've done in previous years. So I'm kind of thinking I could do my family reunion, at least part of it in this. That would be great because last time for the family reunion, I ended up doing 4 albums, and that was a lot. And it kind of detoured me from my other scrapbooking, and I'm farther behind now than I've been in a while. All right, layout number 12. Oh, this one's pretty too. Let's see how much of that we're going to cover up. Last page. Oh, sadly, we're gonna cover up a lot of that. I hope that's in the other paper pack. But yeah, you could kind of gut that out and cover up some of this if you wanted to. Now this time when I cut this, I'm gonna cut these small pieces first before I cut the big piece off because last time it was a little bit harder to cut the 1-inch strips. So I'm gonna cut it this way, which goes against everything I told you at the beginning about how you're supposed to cut in order, but a girl can change her mind, right? Okay. All right, that whole piece, that was super easy cutting. This is the left page and the right page. That's really cute. We're going to cover up that rainbow again. Lila, I don't know. I haven't actually opened up the paper that's in the collection. But I imagine they're basically the same papers. I don't know if anybody has looked into that. Does anybody know? Anybody that's watching in the comments, can they answer that for us? I assume that they are. My hope is that they're the same, basically all these same papers because I really like them. Oh, before I stick these down, I think I want to figure out where this is going to go. I think it goes down here. I can't tell. Can't tell where they have. I think I want to move mine up a little bit more than they have theirs. I don't want to cover up like all of this um design. Kind of weird. All right, now I got to use my grid. I'm sorry. So I'm going to put mine about 1, 2, 3 inches from the bottom, which is like exactly halfway. And I don't think that's what they wanted. So I'm going to do 2.5 inches from the bottom. They have it so it's kind of lots more vertical space at the top. All four of these are the same. On the Creative Memories website, it should give you the option, although I think at one point it wasn't set up yet, but it should give you the option to go to the issue page and you can flip through the papers. I haven't done that. All right, this one again says the border stickers for this layout are already pre-cut into 2 pieces. That's a lot of hand holding for us. I appreciate it. Hold my hand, Creative Memories. When we get to the end of this, if we want, we can when I get all the layouts done, if I remember, I can share my screen and we can click over to the Creative Memories site and see what the papers look like. We can flip through them together. It goes between the craft paper and the bottom. I'm kind of trying to line them up on the side, but it's a little tricky. No, that one wasn't. The bottom was tricky. I might have put one of them upside down. All right, and now we're at number 12. And we have the smile with a camera and a big water. This does remind me of Emerald Gemstone. Watercolor blob. I think I want to put the watercolor blob behind though. No, maybe not. It kind of gets lost. And then a little sun and a cloud. I'm gonna have to message Noreen and tell her that I put this together and they didn't do the rule of 3 with their embellishments and that it was making me a little twitchy. All right, and I think that's it. Then we just put the 3.5 by 5 photos, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them across this. I would probably maybe put something else up here. That's the one thing I don't love about these is that they don't use as many photos on their layouts as I tend to use on mine. But I wonder if that's because I am a scrapbooker and so I take more pictures, of an event than like a normal non-scrapbooking person would do. And in fact, my kids have learned when they go somewhere, they'll say, "Yeah, mom, I took enough pictures for a scrapbook layout." So at least I haven't, failed them in that way. All right, if anybody watches this on the replay, first of all, thank you for surviving through those first torturous minutes when I was getting this stuff worked out. But I don't like to have mid-roll ads in my videos. I always try to turn that off so that you have to watch an ad at the beginning, you have to watch an ad at the end. But I don't like to break my flow with ads. But when I was setting this up, it did not give me the option to turn off the mid-roll ads. So if you're getting ads, I'm sorry. All right, this one actually looks like they have you punch it with a hole puncher. I don't have a hole puncher. I mean, I have one somewhere. I might have one. I'd have to get up and move around to see if I can find it. I don't even have a punch that punches a little circle. Yeah, I don't think I have a hole punch. So I'm just gonna leave the tags like that. And this one again, I didn't quite get the pink edge off. All right, so this one, it has the sticker, and I kind of like the pink sticker over this black and white. You mean you could even like color that in if you're coloring one. Yeah, Maria, I don't think there are ads when you watch it live, but I think when they play it in the replay, that's when they're going to put the ads in. So that's a reward for watching it live with me. But I will try to turn those off because I hate the ads. And I know like for people that like that's their, they need the income from YouTube. I was not going to have any ads on mine ever. I wasn't going to monetize my YouTube channel until I discovered that they were putting ads anyway. And so now by monetizing it, I have a little bit of control. If you notice, if you watch like my theme park Thursday and stuff, there's generally no ads because I try very hard to remember to turn those off. But I think when you watch it live, I don't think they pause me to, show you an ad about, visit Jamaica or whatever. Okay. So, and I do think it's interesting if, my husband and I tend to watch YouTube both on the TV, but we watch in different rooms and he logs in as himself and I log in as me. And every now and again we'll watch together. And it's very interesting to me that he gets totally different ads than I get. Same with on Facebook, I was telling he's been on Facebook because I start getting ads for airplanes and, aviator sunglasses or whatever. And I don't usually get those. Lots of crafting ads. Okay, so they do have you put a little photo on these, 2.5 by 3.5. So I want to leave enough space to allow for the photo. Kind of do wish I had a hole punch, but it's a big size. Like it's bigger than a standard hole punch, I feel like. I don't know how to do that. Well, so I won't. And this one again, I left a little of the pink line, but I put it on the top. Hopefully you won't be able to see it. Oh, thanks, Beverly. Said she loved the train on Thursday. That is absolutely not anywhere close to what I thought I was going to do. I don't know what I thought I was going to do, but I've been sick, and usually I try to do my video on Tuesday afternoon so that I can edit it on Wednesday and get it posted Wednesday night so that I don't have to rush in the morning. And but I've been sick, and so on Tuesday or Monday afternoon, I was like, yeah, I should go start my video. Didn't. Tuesday afternoon, didn't. Wednesday night, oh no, I don't want to miss a week. I got my streak going. And so I thought I'll just do something really fast. And then I ended up, riding the crazy train, but I love it. I had so much fun with it. And, I could have probably pulled out my Cricut or my Silhouette. I've got one of each. I got more than one of each actually, but I had fun making a train from scratch. So for those of you who don't watch my Theme Park Thursday, that's what we're talking about. And I do have people that tell me they don't watch Theme Park Thursday because they're not scrapbooking theme park photos. But my goal is really more to teach you how to create the layout that works for you. And people tell me all the time that they get ideas that they can use for non-theme park videos. So, and those are edited, so they won't be, live with all these hours of, watching me count out. Okay, we did 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Okay, 13, 13, 13, 13, 15. Kind of fun to do them upside down because I have no idea what they're going to look like when I flip them over. I mean, I could look at the guide, but I haven't. Okay, there's title page and end page, title page, end page, 15. Okay, so I guess that's 16. And then title page, end page is 16. So this one has this little fake washi tape. So happy. And I guess this is like Amy Tangerine's thing, this her little handwriting calligraphy style. This and this. This little So Happy is definitely something I would probably put on a foam square. All right, there is layout number 13. I like this one a lot. Pink and yellow are my two favorite colors, and there's lots of pink and yellow on this. All right. 14. More of this cute paper that I really like with the little stones. And it looks like a lot of it shows, so that's good. And it's two double-sided, so get lots of both. And then this one, we will really, the cut apart cuts are so easy. This is a great concept. We talked a little earlier, I talked about the fast to fab pages, and I think that one of the things Creative Memories hears is people don't have time to scrapbook, and so they're trying to make it faster. And I do have friends that love the fast to fab, and My daughter Katie, who's made 2 scrapbooks, used the Fast to Fab pages, but I know that even she, as a first-time scrapbooker, a couple of times she's like, "Yeah, I don't want this paper with these pictures or something." So she had to kind of, make it her own. And I think this is kind of a step up from the Fast to Fabs. Okay, this one has the orange scallops just on the outside. I'm gonna go ahead and do the stickers first, which ordinarily when I'm scrapbooking, I do the stickers last, but oh, and they go on this line, not all the way to the outside. But I love that these can be rearranged to work however you need them to work in a way that the Fast to Fab pages cannot be. Oh, Bobby and I both have the same 2 favorite colors. Yay! Hooray for pink and yellow. Just love the brightness of them, and thankfully I had girls, so I've had lots of opportunities in my life to use pink and yellow, but I don't know that that would have really stopped me. Um, my friend's son, when he was little, his favorite color was pink. And when he got to kindergarten, kids started teasing him. Boys can't like pink. And so he was very concerned about, being cool or whatever. And so then for a long time, he used to say his favorite color was light red, which I thought was a clever way to handle that particular piece of social pressure. All right, this one goes at the bottom and goes at the top. Right here. I am going to grab a 4x4 photo positioner so that I can put these little pieces where they need to be. And actually, because of the grid, I can see that they put it up 3 grid squares. So that's going to help me know about how far up to put it. I'm still using my one tape runner, but I'm pretty frugal with my tape. I know when I watched the video from CM with Amy Tangerine, I do, with regular, I do about a 1/4 inch. With this, I do about a 1/2 inch. Let's see if I can find my 4x4 mats. Have a little drawer that's got all my little photo sizing guides in it, but they're all out of order. There we go. There's 4x4. So if I put this right here, then I know where to put that piece. Which I guess we just kind of want it to be at the same height as this one. And then the same thing. Basically, this is the same exact layout, just turned upside down. So maybe I'll just put it together like that. Which again is a technique that you can take for your own scrapbooking, right? And say, oh, I can make 2 identical layouts and then flip one over and get a totally different look. Uh-oh, where'd my other piece go? There it is. All right, we've got that, and then 14, this banner. We have the little washi and the leaf. Oh, I like this a lot. Again, emerald gemstone right there. And the right here, right now. Is that a song, a commercial? I feel like it makes me want to burst into song. Oh, yes, Heather, private pilot, aerospace engineer. We probably get a lot of the same the same ads. My husband is also a private pilot and a retired Army pilot, and still finagling ways to buy his own airplane so we don't have to keep renting somebody else's, because sometimes he wants to go flying and somebody else is using the plane, and where's the fun in that? But I can always tell when he's been looking because those are the ads that we get. All right, so that's it for layout 14. Together. All right, we got 2 more to go, and we've got 14 minutes until we hit the exact 2-hour mark of assembling these guys. I like this one. Oh, right here, layout 15, bottom. And then we'll go back and do the title page and the end page. I probably should have done the vertical. I usually like to cut the verticals first and then the horizontal, but that's. All right, that was fast. Okay, we have border stickers. Apply the border stickers onto the base page before adhering piece 1. I have a sneeze threatening me. Hopefully I can head it off, but if not, I'm going to keep my tissue handy in case I have to take a sneeze detour. Right along the edge of this. All right, and then another sticker sheet used up. We're almost done. Got this one kind of over a little farther than I would probably have put it, but I'm always trying to cram more pictures onto my layouts, so. When Amy Tangerine did the video for CM, she said that this repositionable adhesive is repositionable, then over time it becomes permanent. I don't think that that's like scientifically true. But I think it's just maybe a definition of what permanent means. But I do know that when I've used repositionable on other projects, I've when I've gone to take like I used it for a display board, and when I went to take the stuff off, it ripped the paper, it ripped the board. So that's, I mean, is anything permanent? I mean, you can always rip the background paper that it's on. If you use liquid glue, you can rip that paper. I think I'm going to put this one so that it lines up with that. Okay. And then 15 of this. The yellow comes down here with the purple flower. The big blob goes behind with the little note card and truly wonderful. I do like these. I like these sayings. I think they're generic enough to work for a lot of layouts. Might have to kind of be a little selective about what you put. Truly wonderful, but oh, I'm still on my first tape runner refill, but I feel like it's getting close to the end. I've been checking. See if we can do it with one tape runner refill. All right. So there we go. Layout 15. That's the last of the regular layouts. And then we have going back to what they have as the title page and the end page. And it says title page and end page base paper. And then our cut aparts. And again, that big giant hole punched hole. I don't quite know what they want me to punch that with. What do I have? Surely in this scrapbook room, I've got a hole punch hole that would be the exact right size for that. And I think I'm just going to leave them unpunched. So I feel like I'm going to use my scissors. I feel like at the beginning, I said there was some kind of feedback I was going to give to CM about these simple page kit, the album box kit. Now I can't remember what it was. Maybe I'll have to watch the replay later myself. But I do think I'm going to tell them that having this little thing with a hole punched accent that's not a standard hole punch size was not my favorite. They could have made these die cuts, right? If they wanted us to have something that with a hole punch in it, you know, punch the hole for us. Okay, now I'm going to go back to the beginning. Title and end pages. And I could have done this one first, but one of them was at the back. So here's this piece, the yellow stickers. Remember that the base page will be at the top of your paper stack and the end base page and cut apart page will be at the bottom. All right, that's a little annoying. So I'm going to put this on first. It's a little bit below the purple line. I'm going to line it right up with this grid line. And then this. That's on here so that some of the purple shows through, or the pink. I do know my colors. It goes right here. Goes fast. And then this one, it looks like they put it in about an inch. I'm gonna have to use my mat. I have to use it. Otherwise it might not be straight. It's more like 3/4 of an inch or something like that, right? About, that's the 1 inch line. I'll pull it back a little bit. Got the grid, so I'm lining up the grid lines with the 1 inch line. And then got 2 of these on the top. Don't want to run out of repo. However, I'm doing a whole entire album with one paper and a refill. Of course, I haven't put any pictures down yet either. But I'm very excited because we have the Natural Beginnings coming out and then the Global Getaways. And then later on, I think in March, we are getting a baby collection. So there'll be a beginner simple page kit and the album in a box kit for the baby. And then in May, I think we're getting wedding. So what a fun way to start, you know. I usually actually tell people don't start with your wedding photos, but if you wanted to and just get them done, you could have it done with this. So, all right, the title page embellishments are this little rainbow stripe. I like that a lot. And the yellow splash and look on the bright side. Love that. I love that sentiment. It's one I need to remember. Beverly, they will, I think they plan to carry this for the whole year. I think that the only reason that they delayed releasing all 3 of them at the same time was to soften the blow to advisors who want to buy one of each. because I'm really glad that I didn't have to buy 3 of these album in a box kits. So the album in a box kit is $149, might be $149.50 US. What I love about that is that it ships at our lowest shipping tier, which is $8.95. And if you do the math, it's a really good deal. It's a really good deal. That simple page kits are usually $6 each. You get 16 of them. I can't do that math in my head. And then you get the album and the pages. And so that by itself is like, usually $40 for the album cover, another $32 for the pages. So that's like 70 something plus 6 times 16, which is 120. So it's like $190 value that you get for 149. So, that was nice of them to do it that way. Plus the tape runner, which is 8.95 or 8.50. So I think scrapbooking can be expensive. Getting started scrapbooking can be expensive, but I think that they made it a decent entry level prospect. So here we go. This is layout number 16, which is really number layout 1 and 16, I guess, title page. This is all the excess we have. These few little triangles worth of stuff, no other scraps. And I used all the stickers, all the embellishments. And I've got this whole album that now I can slide these all in the album pages. And some people might save these scraps. I'm not going to. But we could, pull this out. I'm not going to take time right now while you guys are here to put it in the pocket pages, just because that will take a little bit of time. But we can do it like this and kind of flip through what the album's going to look like. So that there. Oh, I didn't put these front and back. I was trying to do them together. Layout number 2. Layout number 3 with its sticker. Layout number 4. And again, because they're all front and back, you can rearrange these as much as you need to. Layout number 5. Layout number 6. And you're going to want to keep the album guide because it's going to show you where to position your photos if you need help with that. 7, 8. And so even though we covered up a lot of the kind of bolder patterns, I think that they still, they still come through. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and the end page. So if you wanted to do your own, title and end page, if you're going to do more of a book, you could absolutely, just use this as a layout in your book, or you could use any of these as a title and end page. But that's kind of the way that it is designed. So does anybody have any questions for me? That's the end of the put together 329, and I started it at 129. So exactly 2 hours. That was with me kind of talking and hopping up on my soapbox. I'm going to unpin this one. And let's see. Oh, now I got to turn this one off. Hang on just a second, because now it thinks I'm the speaker. Actually, I'll just leave the meeting. All right. So now that should be gone. And then I can, hopefully you guys can still hear me. I can share my screen. And we'll go and look at the all right, I've lost my YouTube window, so hopefully you guys can still hear me. Okay, thanks, Bobby. All right, so that's not the one I want to show you. I want to show you this one. But this is the On the Bright Side kits. Right now it's under new. I don't know if they're going to have a separate section for it or not later. But here's the On the Bright Sides album kit, Jazzberry Pink. That's the album cover that I got. You can also get that Vivid Blue or the Green Jubilee. And then here's the Buy It All bundle that has the paper, the tone-on-tone paper, but we'll just look at those things separately. So here's the On the Bright Side paper pack. Let's see if it will let us click through. There it is. All right, you guys seeing this? I'm going to click back to YouTube for just a second. See if that's what you're going to see. Hopefully that's what you're going to see. But, oops. And then it just lets us click through and see. And a lot of these papers are the ones we just saw. Sorry, I'm trying to see if I can watch it on YouTube at the same time as I'm watching watching my screen without you guys having to see my YouTube screen. All right, there we are. Oh yeah, we'll allow cookies. So some of these are different. I didn't see that one, but we saw that kind of craft paper. We saw this blue paper. We definitely saw this one. We definitely saw that grid. I love this rainbow paper. I want like all of that paper, some purple speckles. I love the rocks and the leaves, the yellow, the stripes, the wood grain. We didn't see much of that, I don't think. And then the flowers. So that's the On the Bright Side paper pack. But then there's also a tone-on-tone paper pack. And I think we probably saw some of those too. So when you just go on the website, when you come down here, you can click on this, you know, where it's colored, click on that link. And it will take you to the issue site. So we got the pink grid. We didn't see this kind of tan polka dot. There's the pink pluses. Saw a lot of those, 2 patterns. Saw both of those. So really, I almost feel like we saw more of the tone-on-tone than we saw the other things. Let's see if we can look at the embellishments. This one has monthly title embellishments, which I don't know why they're giving us so many of those. I don't feel like we need them. Let's look at the mats. And again, I think these we can do on the issue, but the others I don't think we can do on issue. But any of these that have the little blue link. Oh, those are cute. I really like those. Oh yeah. Yeah, yeah. Some of the things are the same, but most of them are different. Oh, I love this one. Very fun. And then oh, let's look at the what if I can find the Your Own Way project recipe or yeah. Let's look at the embellishments. These look like they're a little different than the ones that we had in the kit. So they would complement very well. Look at these little epoxy guys. Those are cute. I do want to look at the Well, no, I'm not logged in. So we'll figure it out. I'll put in the comments or something in the description. But yeah, thank you, thank you, thank you for coming on this experiment with me. I hope it was fun for you. I hope it was informative. I appreciated you guys commenting and, helping me have the courage to change a couple things when I didn't like the way they went. So, yeah, I don't know when I'll do this again. It was kind of an anomaly that I had this Saturday afternoon open and a project that I could do without having to think too hard. And of course, all the tech stuff was challenging for me, but I know Megan Jacks uses a different software. I've talked to her a little bit about it, but I just didn't have time to figure it out. And so if I were to decide to go live more often, I would learn how to do that, better. And I don't know that YouTube will let me edit out that first beginning part, but I'll figure it out. But if this is something that you enjoyed, if you enjoyed the live, I did really like getting you guys to actually respond to me in close to real time, because a lot of times on my videos I talk to you and then I have to wait, till Thursday morning when you start answering me in the comments. So thank you so much. I hope those of you who are on Facebook will forgive me that I went back and forth between YouTube and Facebook, but YouTube just seemed to be more user-friendly for me on this one. And yeah, I hope I'll see you online on Facebook, in the comments of a future Theme Park Thursday or whatever else I happen to come. I think we're taking a break from Savvy Scrapbookers. We've all our businesses are going a little bit different directions and it got to be too much. So I don't think we're going to be doing the Savvy Scrapbookers for a while. So I'm trying to figure out what I can put back in that spot, or in a different spot. But I feel like I have room in my YouTube schedule to add another video. I just don't know what it is. So I'm open to suggestions if there's something you'd like to see. And if not, see you online, and I'll be back here on Thursday for another edition of Theme Park Thursday. So thank you so much. Have a great weekend and happy scrapbooking.